Hey guys, today I really want to talk to you about your identity and your value in Christ. This is super crucial to really living the gospel, proclaiming and demonstrating it every day as a lifestyle, to really walk in evangelism with confidence and with boldness. You need to be resting in your value. We don't do these things for value, we live from value. We don't have to try to win the lost or get more testimonies or any of that. It's not about any of that. It's about resting in who we are and who we've been placed into. And out of that place, we just live and we move and we have our being. It's a super restful state where evangelism no longer has this drive for value, but it's actually a fiery passion. There's a huge difference. They look very similar, but they are totally different heart modes of operation. I can have a drive to find value and significance, and it can look like passion to the outside world, but in here, it's going to tear me apart and tear at me. But if I live from the place of value, it produces a passion that is contagious. And that's really what I wanted to talk to you about today, because there's two kind of identity messages that are commonly preached. There's tons of messages on identity, and I don't really want to go into all of them. But there's two kind of topics that the church has been championing for decades now, which is your identity in Christ, you're the righteousness of God, and then your identity as an adopted daughter or son, which both of these messages are amazing. But really what it boils down to, if you really strip away all of the sermons on the two things, your identity in Christ and your identity as a daughter or son, it boils down to one thing, and that's this: that you are immensely valuable. You are valuable. There's value on your life. There's worth on your life. There's value on your life. And that is just immense. God adores you and He delights in you, so much so that He placed you in Christ into the righteousness, which Jesus Christ is the righteousness. So we've been placed and submerged into Him, who is our righteousness and who is also our Son. He is the Son. He is the Son of God, the firstborn among many brothers, and we have been placed into Him. So now we are daughters and sons. So it's bigger than our own individual identity. It's His identity that we've been placed into, and we're really valuable to be placed into Christ. So it boils down to value. I remember this one day, I was really having a hard time. This was maybe 5-6 years ago, and I was struggling with my value. I had just gotten done doing a lot of traveling and speaking at different places, and had traveled to a couple other nations, and it just felt like a really high, pinnacle year in terms of ministry. And as I came home, and I had my baby daughter at the time. She was just born, and nothing opened up. Everything closed. Every door closed. Every opportunity closed. Everything felt like it slammed shut in my face. And this was for about a year. This was a year season of really like a dark night in the soul, but where the Lord was pruning me and breaking things out of my life. And I remember during this time, I was honestly like teetering with depression and just feeling so down about myself and down about everything. And I was complaining to my wife, and my wife just said, you can talk to God about that. I'm going to bed. It was at night, and she took off and went to bed. And I appreciate her doing that because it led me to the Lord. And I started asking the Lord, I said, God, why? Why are there no more open doors? Why am I not speaking anymore? Why am I not getting opportunity for this, that, and the other? And the Lord spoke to me, and He said, Micah, you think that because you're not doing those things anymore, this, and this, or this ministry or that ministry, that you think you lost your value. But I want to tell you, Micah, you never lost your value, because your value doesn't come from what you do. It comes because I gave it to you, because you have been placed into my Son. And that broke something off of me. I remember I suddenly realized that I had been living for years with a drive for value and significance, and it looked good, but it wasn't true passion. And everything was stripped away, and suddenly I realized, oh my gosh, I'm valuable. I don't need to speak for value. I don't need to win the lost for value. I don't need to do anything for value. I have it because I've been submerged into Christ. And I realized that instead of living with the drive for significance, I could live with a passion from the place of being valuable, being placed into Him. This changed my life, man. This was so powerful. I remember I was just crying, tears running down my face, and the Lord led me to Matthew 6, where he said this statement. He said, look at the birds. They neither sow nor reap or like store up into barns, so they don't invest, they don't save, they aren't doing all this stuff, but God takes care of them. And Jesus said this, how much more valuable are you than the birds? We are way more valuable than the birds. And look at all the birds. They're at peace. They're resting. And everything is being provided for them. And in the same way, we can live in a place of rest, knowing our value. We're way more valuable than the birds. We're way more valuable than the flowers in the fields. We are daughters and sons. We have been placed into Jesus Christ, the Son. And this is super powerful, super freeing. So I just want to encourage you. You are valuable. And some of the ways that you can practically rest in your value in Christ is, one, staying rooted in the Word. Get in the Word and read who He is. Read about Jesus. Discover who He is and how you have been placed into Him. Stay rooted in the Word. Number two is live from the place of what He speaks to you. He is constantly speaking. Jesus is the written word and the spoken word. He has so much that He says that He's speaking to you. And we need to live from His affirmations and from His voice above every other voice. We live before an audience of one. So stay in the written word, get rooted in the Word, dive in the Word, discover the truth of who Christ is and who you are in Him. And then stay rooted in His affirmations instead of looking for the opinions of everybody else or the expectations of everybody else. Just live listening in the place of His voice is the ultimate highest voice and priority in your life. Those are a couple things that I think would really help you. And I just hope this encourages you. You are valuable, you are significant, and live from that place. You don't have to perform for it. You rest in it because you have been placed into the pleasing one. All right. I just pray that this encourages you. Thanks so much for checking it out. Again, encourage you to subscribe to our channel. Just hit the button below. And be sure and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Love Pursuit International. Thanks so much, guys. Love you, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.